I'm Dr. Fizzlebop. I've been thinking recently about all the family get-togethers I attended as a kid. The best part was always my great Aunt Lois's 7-layer gelatin salad. Talk about Fizzlicious. You're not going to want to eat today's marvelous masterpiece of liquid layers, however. But it will look swell when we're finished. Are you ready? Fizztastic! Let's get going. Today at Fizzlebop Labs, I'm assisted by Kinley and Kennedy. First, a warning. This experiment uses lots of liquids. Some are messy, and some can be dangerous. So get a parent or adult to assist you with this experiment. And be sure to wear gloves and eye protection. Now, let's get started. First, the Fizzlebop supply list. We'll need a clear half-gallon, 2-liter pitcher or vase, a turkey baster, 9 containers for separating the liquids, 1 cup or 240 milliliters of honey, 1 cup or 240 milliliters of light corn syrup, 1 cup or 240 milliliters of maple syrup, 1 cup or 240 milliliters of whole milk, 1 cup or 240 milliliters of dish soap, 1 cup or 240 milliliters of water, H2O, 1 cup or 240 milliliters of vegetable oil, 1 cup or 240 milliliters of rubbing alcohol, and 1 cup or 240 milliliters of lamp oil. We'll also need food coloring. It can be whatever choice you want. Here's a fizz tip, however.
If your dish soap is green, consider using some blue food color.
Excellent. You'll also want a metal bolt, popcorn kernels, game dice, a carrot, some plastic beads, a soda bottle cap, a ping pong ball, and of course, my very, very favorite thing, a seltzer tablet, because everything is better with fizz. We'll wait right here while you gather your supplies. Okay, now that we've gathered our supplies, let's get to the experiment. If you haven't put on your eye protection or gloves yet, now is the time to do that. Fizztastic! Now that we're safe, we'll begin by pouring each liquid into one of the 9 containers. We need to either label each cup or set them in the order that we'll add them to the large container. We have gone ahead and labeled our containers. So we need honey, corn syrup, maple syrup, whole milk, dish soap, water, vegetable oil, rubbing alcohol, and lamp oil. We'll begin now by adding liquids to each of the cups. We've gone ahead and already added our food coloring to the water and rubbing alcohol. But as a reminder, you'll want to add at least 5 drops to the water and the food coloring. And here is a fizz tip for you, because it's important that these stand out against the other colors that you have in the column. Here's your fizz tip.
If your dish soap is green, consider adding blue food coloring to the rubbing alcohol instead.
So you can see we've used teal for our water and we've used purple for our rubbing alcohol. Now for the fun part. Next, we're going to start building our tower by pouring the honey into the clear container. It's important to slowly layer the honey, corn syrup, and maple syrup into the center of the container. We have to make sure the liquids don't touch the sides of the container as we pour. Syrup. Now, we'll use the turkey baster to carefully add the milk, followed by the dish soap. We must add them just a little at a time. Pay attention to this fizz tip.
Slowly and carefully is the best way to successfully complete this experiment.
Fizztastic. Okay, this time we're going to use the side of the container. We're going to fill the turkey baster with the water, then hold the tip of the baster against the side of the container and close to the layer of dish soap. Now we'll squeeze gently, allowing the water to flow down the inside wall of the container. And again, if you haven't put on your gloves and eye protection, this is the time to do that now. All right, that took a little while, and I'm sure you enjoyed the fast motion of us doing that. Next, we need to layer the vegetable oil, the rubbing alcohol, and the lamp oil with the exact same method. So it's going to take a little time. You'll have to have patience, but you'll need to be careful because as you can see, even some of our blue water has gotten below our dish soap and has started to mix with our milk. And even though they're different densities, the dish soap is so thick, the water's having a hard time to come back above that. So, be patient and take your time. Now that we've finished the oil, we're going to add the rubbing alcohol next. Now that we've added our last layer of rubbing alcohol, we're going to add our final layer of liquid, which is the lamp oil. And as you can see, these layers are separating well. And though we've had a little bit of mixage here and there, for the most part, they're separating really well. All right, let's add that lamp oil. Fizztastic! Do you see this? Let's step back a moment and let's look at this 9 layer, let's think about my Aunt Lois Jello. 9 layer density tower. You can see all of our layers, how they've lined up and separated. And sure, we have a little bit of mixage here and there, but for the most part, they've separated into their densities. Now, as the liquids continue to settle and over time, they will separate further and it might even become even cleaner. Our next step is to release the objects one at a time into the liquids. We're going to allow them to fall as gently as possible through the layers, the density layers, as they go. We'll start with the bolt, followed by the popcorn kernels, the game dice, the carrot, the plastic beads, the soda cap, and lastly, the ping pong ball. We're going to start with the bolt. Close and let it go slowly. Whoop. Hanging out on the bottom. All right, next we're going to do some popcorn kernels. A lot of popcorn kernels. Kennedy? Go ahead. Excellent. Okay. Next, the dice. Okay. Next, we're going to do the carrot. Here we go. Here we go. All right, here's the plastic bead. Where'd it go? I see something floating right here. I don't know if that's the carrot. What that is.
Well, that's the carrot.
Okay, and the plastic bottle cap.
Oh.
Let's see if we let's just see. Oh, it sinks. There we go. Thought it might sink below that. Okay, and lastly, ping pong ball. Okay. Here is another helpful fizz tip for you.
Release the objects at different locations around the container and allow the top levels of the tower to settle between each release. A few of the objects may have odd effects on your tower. Observe and record them in your notes.
I hope you'll snap a picture and post it online so we can see the results of your marvelous experiment. Tag us at Fizzlebop Labs and use #Fizzlebop.
Dr. Fizzlebop, what's happening?
Well, the tower we created put density differences on display. Basically, density is how much substance is packed into a particular volume. Each liquid we added had a different density, and those with the highest density sit at the lowest levels of the tower. Density differences also apply to the objects that we dropped into the tower. The densest objects, the bolts, sank to the very bottom, and the less dense floated to the top, the ping pong ball. It's time to collect our data. You can record it under the experiment in Faith and Science with Dr. Fizzlebop on page 32, or in your Fizzlebop Labs notebook.
What did you observe as you added the different liquids in your density tower? Which objects floated and which liquids did they float in?
Interesting. Want to go deeper with this experiment? Here's a Fizz Extra called Liquid Weights.
You can weigh each liquid on a kitchen scale. Be sure the volumes are all the same, of course. So perhaps compare 1 cup, 240 milliliters of water to 1 cup, 240 milliliters of honey. Which is heavier?
Which is lower in the density tower? It should be the heavier of the two liquids.
Fizztastic! That's it! Enjoy your 9-level density tower. We hope you'll share it with us by tagging @Fizzlebop Labs and using #Fizzlebop. Thanks for joining us here at Fizzlebop Labs. I hope you had as fizztastic time as we have. Join us here each week for a new experiment. And don't forget to subscribe.
That's Fizztastic! Very incorrect. That's Fizzlicious!
Now that we have observed and enjoyed our tower, let's grab a seltzer tower and set it on the top layer of the tower. On the count of 3. 3, 2, 1.
Look, there's bubbles over here. Look, it's starting to explode over here too. It's completely destroying the layers.
The milk and water is getting destroyed.
It's completely,
Oh,
look at
wow.
that.
There you go.
It's completely destroying the 2 layers.